AOC on trial. What does she have to say about her present vote? Let's go.
Just circling back to the funding debate that we were talking about before the break, Congress suddenly found $1 billion to give Israel for its Iron Dome missile defense system, which, to be clear to our viewers, is already fully funded. This was a $1 billion cherry on top. The majority of the squad, Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, voted against it. Jamal.
Does anyone else feel like he doesn't actually have eyebrows or hair, just a goatee that kind of wraps around, where you, like, underneath the jaw where you can't see it? There's something about his whole head in motion. It makes it feel like this is like one great sculpt. You know what I mean? Does anyone, do you know what I mean? Does anyone? Yeah, it's like a visual illusion. What the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. Never mind.
Bowman voted for it, and he told me on this show the other night it's because he wanted to represent his diverse constituents. You voted present, despite having criticized other House members in the...
It's all being green screened in. He actually has green body paint right here along the hairline, the eyebrows, and right here in the goatee area. And they're live face apping the guys.
Pass for voting present. I know you put out a statement addressing this, but can you just briefly explain to our viewers on MSNBC tonight why you voted that way? Because I'm sure you know you've come under a lot of criticism for that present vote, including from supporters of yours.
Yeah.
What is this face from AOC, by the way? Every time I see a photo of her, she's making this face. It's always this face. It's the fucking pause champ face. All the time. She just loves making that face, you know? Or the media likes showing her making that face, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was an extremely difficult vote, and I also think it's important that people are educated about the process of this vote. That Democratic leadership decided to fast track this funding. So when you want funding for preschool here in the United States, if you want funding for any sort of domestic priority, it must go through what feels like 80 different committee hearings, markups, etc. And here, just casually, $1 billion was fast-tracked, no committee markup. In fact, earlier that week, leadership attempted to kind of slip in an extra $1 billion into routine legislation.
This is true, but not an answer.
I was part of the Democrats that helped to remove it because this is contentious. Now, what became very difficult during the course of the week was that, my district is adjacent to Representative Bowman's, and this began to, frankly, just really become quite contentious in our community, in part due to the disingenuous messaging that both parties were advancing. You are correct in that this funding was in addition to the already fully funded Iron Dome, but Democratic leadership decided to run with the narrative that this was, in fact, to vote against it was to defund the Iron Dome, which sent many of our constituents into a panic. They called this vote, they scheduled the vote 2 hours. They called the vote 2 hours after it was announced that it was scheduled, and that lack of timing create a very volatile environment back in the district, and so it's something that has been obviously very difficult. But that is what happened that day.
Congresswoman, the question that a lot of people ask me to
the question you're not answering.
Ask you this is: was it worth doing present? Because it didn't really satisfy anyone. The supporters of Israel are mad at you for not voting for it. Critics of Israel are mad at you for not voting against it. Do you regret that?
You know, it is something that I weigh because there's always the macro and then there's the micro. And in the macro of narrative, of politics, of national impact, I probably should have just
Pelosi is right off screen to her left with a gun pointed at her.
Gone with my value. But in the macro, which would be to vote no. But in the micro, I do believe that this created a window in our community to be able to bring all folks to the table because
bullshit. Complete bullshit. Yeah. I sympathize with her because there's no way of constructing a satisfying answer here without impugning the Democratic Party. But this is a blink twice if you need help situation. She's not able to answer this question. It's as simple as this. The Democratic Party knows that AOC is I'd be willing to bet AOC wanted to vote no. Pelosi was like, hey, you're one of our media frontrunners. We really need you to not vote no on this. And AOC said, best I can do is a present. She went back there and voted present. I think that's the best we're going to... there's no way that's not what happened.
My great fear is that we are going to import the same sort of contention around this issue, and we can have a progressive movement that defends Palestinian human rights, that is Muslim, Christian, Jewish. So in the micro, I believe that it created a window of opportunity for us in the Bronx. But in the macro,
yeah, no, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen, guys. We're never going to get a serious answer to this question because the answer is disgustingly political. Like it has nothing to do with ideology and everything to do with pragmatism. So honestly, like I know AOC is in a tough position here. So while I'm still disappointed in her not taking a stand on this and saying fuck you to Pelosi and actually voting no, I understand that the position she's in is pretty difficult. Would it have passed anyway? She voted no. Yeah, it went like 420 to 13 or whatever. It would have passed no matter what. But yeah, I'm not gonna like go crazy hard on her or whatever.